Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I just love reindeer, don't you? They are such an adorable icon of Christmas time. I mean, they help to pull Santa's sleigh. So let's try to make some for our Christmas decor. Hi friends, for this DIY we are going to make some high-end reindeer. I have a plastic floral branch for the antlers. I found this at Dollar Tree. I've got some Dollar Tree wood dowels. These are 12 inches long. I have my templates I found on a wonderfulthought.com, a big one and a small one for my buck and my doe and their coordinating ear templates. Now usually you see a tartan plaid for these reindeer, and I love tartan plaid, but I want to do something a little different. I want to use this faux leather. I found this at Dollar Tree, and this comes in a roll of 11.75 by 20 inches. So I thought this would be really adorable to have the buck and the doe. I made a Rudolph head using this faux leather, and I absolutely loved the way it turned out. So I thought this gorgeous faux leather would be so beautiful to use for reindeer. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my fabric flipped inside out and get it traced and cut. Once I had my fabric all traced, I took a few pins to pin my fabric together, so once I start cutting, I wouldn't have any slippage in between the layers. So once my pieces are cut out, I turn them on the correct side. I will add my straight pins back to hold the pieces together, and then I'll start stitching them. I'm doing them with the correct side out because I like the exposed stitch look, especially on this faux leather. It really pops, and I think it's really cute. And the tutorial had the tartan plaid, and it was sewed on the incorrect side, and you flip it inside out. But since I'm really making this my own project, I'm doing it this way. That's the great thing about crafting. You can add your own spin on something that has inspired you. I just really like the look of exposed stitching. So with the head portion sewed, I'm going to go ahead and add my polyfill, and I'm doing it this way because it's a lot easier to stuff the head and neck with it just partially sewn versus the whole thing and trying to get my hand or place an object up in there and risk popping the stitches. So now I have both deer partially sewn and the head and necks are stuffed. I'm going to move on to the ears. Now I cut these ears out according to the template, but since I'm using a different type of fabric and these won't be sewn together, I'm going to cut these down just a bit and make them a little smaller. And because it's the faux leather, I'm just going to fold them so the inside of the fabric will show as like the inner ear, and it kind of looks more realistic as a reindeer ear. And then I'll do the same thing for the smaller one. I'll cut it down and fold it and then get it sewn onto the head. In the description box, I will have a link to a wonderfulthought.com so you can visit and look at her step-by-step tutorial of how she completed her reindeer with the tartan plaid fabric. And, of course, make your project your own when you're crafting. Make it something that's personal and do what you love. So now it's time to fill both of the reindeer with polyfill, and I really just tried my best to get these stuffed to the max so they really have a nice full appearance to them. Once I had both reindeer completely sewn, I take my dowel rods to start on the legs. On the tutorial, she cut the buck at 7 inches long for the legs and the doe at 6. I'm doing mine each 1 inch shorter, so my buck will have 6-inch legs and the doe will have 10-inch legs. So I marked with my pencil, and I was worried about the dowel rods rolling and me getting an incorrect mark to cut. So I took some masking tape and just taped the dowel rods together and did the same for the legs for the doe. And then I just used my powered hand tool and just got my dowel rods cut down. So once I had all my legs cut down, I'm just taking my measuring tape so I know where to mark. After I make my marks, I'm going to take my scissors and put a small snip for a hole to press my dowel rods into. The instructions say to make a small X, but since I'm using a different type of material, I just started with one little snip, and it didn't seem like that would be big enough. So then I went ahead and I made another snip to complete the X, and I was able to just twist the dowel rods right inside, and they did stay secure. If you had an adhesive with a really narrow nozzle that you could fit into the hole, that probably would work to add a little glue inside and then press your dowel rods into it. But I was very pleasantly surprised that they did hold up without any glue. And now it's time for their tails. I found these tiny pine cones inside a package of vase filler that I had purchased previously from the Dollar Tree. And so my plan is to just find a little gap in the seams and press it down into there. And I'm using just a tiny dab of this fix-all glue from Dollar Tree, and then I'm going to press that tip of the pine cone down into it. After about a minute, I let the glue get kind of tacky and then just kind of twisted it down in there. And that's what I was talking about for the legs. If you had an adhesive that you wanted to set in there, but you would have to have like a really small nozzle and then press your legs into it. So now it's time to add the antlers, and this plastic twig branch from Dollar Tree is so perfect. It looks really close to what was used in the tutorial. She found hers at Walmart, but I didn't see any at Walmart, and thank heavens I found this at Dollar Tree. This was the last white branch they had. So for the buck, I cut it down near the base, and for the doe, I moved up a bit so hers would be just a bit shorter, and then I ended up taking off another little piece down at the base. And when I tried to twist in for the doe, it kind of was a little bit too long, so I cut it down even more. And I'll just make a little cut right behind each ear and then press my antlers right down into that hole. Okay, now for the neckwear. The inspiration piece had a scarf, but I've got some red and black gingham and also red and white gingham. So I don't want to do a scarf. I want to give a nice cute bow around the neck. So I'm doing an initial bow just to see about how big I would want it and how long I would want the tails. And once I got the size that I liked, I snipped off the excess, then I removed the ribbon and I added just a small jingle bell from my stash so that each of the reindeer would have just a cute little bell as just an extra embellishment. And here are my completed faux leather buck and doe. I am beyond pleased with the way this project turned out. I absolutely love this duo. The faux leather is different, but it's really pretty. You know, when you're crafting, step outside the box. You don't have to do what everybody else is doing. Do what you love, do something different. Whatever, you know, whatever piques your interest, whatever looks good to you, make your project your own. It doesn't have to look exactly like the piece that inspired you. I am beyond happy with these. These turned out so beautifully. Maybe next year I'll try out tartan plaid, but this year I am really loving this faux leather. I will have a link to awonderfulthought.com if you want the full tutorial with the templates. I thank you so much for watching. I had so much fun creating this duo. I hope you have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. God bless you.